comics did, and how he's like, yeah, these people are so terrible, but you can tell he is, like, actually just terrible himself. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Rolf, exactly. Exactly. But yeah, the show really changed a lot, and I think part of it's the writing, part of it is also the excellent cast of characters. Like, of course, I always will love Karl Urban. Ever since I saw him as loyal to the country and its people, not its leadership, heck yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. But yeah, the show has Karl Urban, which I've loved ever since I saw him as Bones in the new Star Trek films. The alternate original series. So I love him a lot. He's so good. One of my favorite actors of all time. But then also, like, all the other characters, like, especially as, like, the video pointed out, like, the adaptation of Homelander, I feel like not just the writing makes him a lot better, but also the actor, Anthony Starr, like, really does an excellent job portraying the character. Like, you see the different, like, facets of the character. Like, he is a terrible person. He's done, like, terrible things, but he also, like, you hate him, but you also kind of sympathize with him because you see, like, the struggles that he's gone through and kind of understand that as well. Of course, I would say it never justifies actions, but it does give, like, facets to a character that didn't really have those facets in the comics. And just the way that he, like, all the minute details in his facial expressions and his actions is just top tier stuff. Top tier stuff. But yeah. Oh boy. But yeah, The Boys. I'm definitely excited for season 4. Season 3 kind of left things at a place where now I'm just like, next season, please. I need to know what happens. Like, I'm so. The suits in the series are terrible people, but they're believably terrible. Yeah, you can tell how their flaws develop naturally from their Exactly. Like, all the characters in The Boys are flawed. Like, every single one, including the protagonist. They're all flawed. They've all done some bad things. But it's, like, it's not cartoonishly bad. It's bad to the extent that you can sympathize, you can relate, you can understand, you can feel bad for them while also understanding that they've done terrible things, you know? And whereas in the comics, it's just everyone's cartoonishly bad. It's like, no one would act this way sort of bad. Or at least if they did, it would be like absolutely crazy people rather than just regular individuals going through stuff. But yeah, Eric Kripe deserves so much credit for taking something that's pretty bad and actually adapting it pretty well. Yeah, I agree, Rolf. I agree. Like, sometimes I do just like to see just somebody just going absolute, like, just some absolute crazy person going like, all over the place doing crazy stuff. Like, sometimes it's fun. But yeah, it's definitely a lot more interesting to look at a villain that is obviously flawed, that you can, like, dissect and analyze while the show is going on and, like, see kind of where things came from. It's a lot more interesting of a dynamic to look at. But yeah, I would say The Boys is one of the few things, as like he pointed out, and the guy pointed out in the video, it's one of the few things I've ever watched where I can definitely say that the adaptation is way better than the original. Another example is the Shadowhunters TV series. I think the Shadowhunters TV series is really good, and that's based off the Mortal Instruments book series. And that book series is terrible, but the show is actually pretty good. So that's one. And another one that's similar is the Shadow and Bone series on Netflix is so much better than the books. It still has a lot of problems, but it's definitely way better written than the books. Like, they changed a lot to take away a lot of the problems that the books had. So there seems to be like a lot of stuff nowadays where it's like, actually their adaptation is better than what the book was. There's still a lot of bad adaptations, but I feel like it's becoming more of a norm now, it seems. Where it's like, oh, we'll take this kind of terrible, you know, concept, but that has like potential, and like turn it into something way better than it was. Yeah, other than good anime adaptations of manga that are already good just because I like animation. Yeah. I know that there was like one anime or so that I remember thinking that I liked the anime more, but now I can't remember what it was. I know there was an anime that I watched where I was like, yeah, I think the anime was better than the manga. Actually, I think there's several. Like, I think Rose and Maiden is a good example where the manga kind of sucks, but the anime is pretty fun. But I can't think of... apparently I've seen so many of those, apparently, maybe. Like, all the stuff that I've mentioned so far, I read the source material and I'm like, this is garbage. Whereas the adaptation is like watchable or even good, you know? But maybe that's just, maybe it's like a curse that follows me. I'll be like, oh, this show's cool, let's check out the OG stuff. Oh no. Oh no. But yeah. There was a novel adaptation I was reminded of recently that would fit, but I forgot which. I see. The only thing I can think of that came out recently is, as I said, the Shadow and Bone series on Netflix, or Dune. Though, for Dune, I saw that people were just kind of like either on one side or the other about whether it was good or not. But I know the Dune, the OG stuff is good, so that definitely wouldn't count. I don't know why I even considered it for a second, as if the original Dune books was bad. It's not. American God. Ooh, I haven't heard of that. What's that? Oh, there's so much stuff I gotta watch. Instead, I just keep watching, like, YouTube videos instead. Oh, I have a million shows I gotta get through. Let's just watch YouTube. Like, I was in the middle of watching The Mentalist, and I got through most of season 1, and then I just stopped. I don't know why. I think I got distracted by something else. Even though that show is pretty good. I love any series about cases. They're all good. It's about gods from ancient religions trying to regain their power after moving to the US, but there's also new gods that are forming from modern Oh, I see. That's interesting. That is a really interesting concept. I'll have to check it out. It sounds cool. Yeah. So wait, is it like they're actual, like... Yeah, basically gods get their power through worship, and since no one actually believes in ancient gods anymore, they're near powerless now. Yeah, that's very, like, how should I put it? Like, I know that there's a lot of, like, both Japanese animes and, Chinese series that have, like, a similar concept. So I'm guessing it's, like, an idea in their religious beliefs, but of course I don't know too much about it. I would have to actually do research on it. But it seems to be kind of like the concept of, gods need worshippers, otherwise the gods like lose power. Whereas like stuff like Christianity and whatnot don't believe in such a thing. They don't see it as like, oh, we give God power. God has power on his own, and hopefully he protects us, that sort of thing. But it's interessante. Yeah, I always hate that. There's so many shows where I'll watch the trailer and I'm like, the trailer is nothing like the show. I'll try and show a trailer for something and I'll be like, actually ignore everything that I just showed you with that trailer because the show is not like that. Oh, 1 sec. Be right back. We'll start soon. I have finally returned. Hello. Sorry about that. Had to do a couple things first, but I am back. But yeah, oh, that also reminds me of, like, what is it? One of my favorite movies that was kind of... Oh, and it's Rolf! Hello, Rolf! Hello, Rolf. Welcome, welcome.
Hello, hello.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
Heck
You were
yeah.
reminded of something?
Hmm?
You said you were reminded of something?
Oh, yeah. I was just saying that so one of my favorite movies is Speed Racer, the movie. Even though everybody... Well, I mean, lately it's become more of a thing where lots of people are saying it's a good movie, but when it came out...
It's like a cult classic. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, like, now it's a cult classic, but when it came out, people hated it. Even though, when I saw it, like, in theaters with my family, and we all loved it. But I think the important thing is whether you've watched the original series or not. Because we all watched the original series. So we walked into it knowing the crazy hijinks that the original series went through and expected it from the movie. Whereas a lot of people walked into the movie, I guess, probably not expecting what they were gonna get. And part of it is the marketing for it. The trailers made it seem like this grim, dark, edgy thing. Like the way it was edited, even though that's not what the movie was about or like at all. But a lot of people were like, oh, I'm not really sure like who this is marketed towards. And because they were like, they'll have like these Saturday morning cartoon bits, but then they'll also have like dark, like people dying and all that other stuff. And I'm like, have you seen a Japanese anime for kids? Like their concept of what is okay for everyone and what's not is different than like the American concept of it. Like they don't shy away from stuff like talking about death and whatnot in kid shows, unlike here where it's usually considered pretty taboo for the most part.
Yeah. I mean, I'm watching through One Piece right now, and I have to remind myself sometimes, like, this was made for kids.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the reason why so many anime was, like, part of the reason why so many anime, when it was first coming out over here, was, like, being heavily edited. Because the stuff, as I said, the stuff that, like, is considered okay for kids to see in Japan, you know, guns, violence, death, other stuff, was not considered okay over here. So I feel like
suggestive content.
Yeah, that too. All those things. So a lot of it had to be edited out. Like you see like guns just completely disappearing from episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh! And things like that. So they're just pointing their fingers at each other.
Yeah, see those screenshots. It's hilarious.
Yeah, and instead of going to the Shadow Realm, I mean, instead of like dying, it's going to the Shadow Realm. And but it's just, it's so funny, and it to me, like all of that really like is showcased in a lot of the reviews for the Speed Racer movie. Because as someone who's watched the original series, I think the movie is very true. Like it's one of the most legit adaptations I've seen of something. Where I look at it and I'm like, they literally just adapted the series. And I feel like if you haven't seen the original series, you're gonna be like, what?
A movie that suffers from being too good of an adaptation.
Yeah, and also suffers from coming out during a time where all the critics were not, like, everybody was still not used to anime. Like, it wasn't mainstream yet. And so I think a lot of the, like, I feel like if Speed Racer came out now, it wouldn't be treated the same way it did when it came out back then. Exactly. because I feel like people would be like, yeah, this is just truly an anime movie. Like, all the tropes are there, the way it's all set up, the types of topics that are talked about. It's literally just a anime that's made to be a Saturday morning cartoon type thing. But yeah. Anyways, are we ready for the Hakuokis?
Yeah.
Heck yeah. I'm gonna admit, I don't remember what we were doing last time. I'm gonna
Probably
be real.
Cosmo or something.
Yeah, probably. I mean, that's like his entire route, though. So, us being like, we're not gonna marry you, as if we're not on his route. Absolutely not. No way, Jose. Okay.
Well, I think last time Kazuma killed our entire family.
Oh yeah, that was
So
a great time. Yeah. Yeah, that is how it works. I mean, that was the time we allowed him to comfort us and everything. So I think she really was into it. She was like, you know, that was pretty hot.
Only so many times you can actually act out that kink.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Run out the family pretty quick.
I mean, yeah. She's lost them all already. She's like, oh, but at least that one time gives me enough fodder for the rest of my life and my fantasies.
Oh, God.
Oh my gosh. Just open in chat on my phone so I can see.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go, I think. Hold up.
Ooh.
I'm just checking something real quick. Badoop. It's so weird. I opened up the app on my phone and it shows that Owen is talking, but I think this was from last stream. And I was like, is Owen talking? Is he not? But I think it is the messages he sent last stream, which is weird because this is showing the info for this stream, so very strange.
Very strange. Yeah.
Oh, and if you're out there, I love you. Okay, continue. File 9. Oh yeah, we were like, we should go visit our Shinsegumi friends. And he's like, are you a freaking idiot? There's about to be a war right there. And she's like, but I want to see them. And he's like, I'm just gonna storm off. And then she's like, oh, now I feel bad. I'm gonna go after him. And then she's like, you know what, actually, I guess I'll wait then until they're not like about to have an all-out battle where I'll just freaking die.
Oh yeah, when you found out Kazuma's actually an idiot and that all the other demons think he's stupid.
Yeah, that was great. Oh my gosh, it was so great. Actually, another thing that I want to talk about real quick is I started playing Birushana after the stream last time because I had finished 3 Hopes, so I finally moved on to it. And I will say, first off, the plot is really good. Like, in some ways not as good as this, but in some ways better than this. And what I mean by that is this still has like the more detailed like history that it's giving us and all the lore and like all the dynamics, which is pretty cool. But the best part about Birushana is the protagonist. It's also based off an actual historical, part, like in history. Different from this, a different part in history, in Japanese history. But the main protagonist in that is actually a major historical figure. They just changed it so that instead of a man, she's a woman, but she has to hide the fact that she's a woman. And because she's a major historical figure, she can absolutely kick ass. There's so many scenes where she beats up like whole like armies of people. And even like some of the love interests too, she'll like wreck them, and it's so great. I'm like, after playing this game, finally seeing a girl absolutely beat people up is so good. And she's great. She's basically what I hoped Chizuru would have been, but never ended up actually being in a lot of ways. Because she also has like some special powers so far that I don't really know anything about yet, because I'm still towards the beginning of one of the routes. But it is very similar to this game in a lot of ways, just better in ways that I'm glad they changed it. The one issue right now that I have is not the story, it's the gameplay. And I know that's weird to say for a visual novel, but the gameplay in Birushana does something different from normal visual novels that I have come to really hate. So you have like the normal, like, oh, this gives people romance points, right?
Yeah.
But you also have a stat system. And that this is like a cool concept in theory, but it does not work in the game. Basically,
kind of like an old school dating sim.
Yeah, exactly. She has knowledge, courage, and kindness as her 3 stats, basically. And depending on your choices, you up stats or lower stats, which gets you into different routes and all that stuff. So you have to worry about this, though. From what I've heard, it's mostly just for the first like 4 chapters, so during the common route. But it literally, I have read multiple reviews on the game that like that don't really give spoilers, that just like or if they did, I just like skipped it because I was just seeing if everybody else felt the same way about the gameplay. But every single one of them was like, I don't understand how the stat system works. It shouldn't have been in there. Because they're like, one of the examples that they gave is for one of the characters that I plan to do the route of after I finish this first character. In order to get his good ending, you have to have all your stats like at 0, like at their lowest level to get the good ending. And so people are like, what's the meaning of these stats? Like, what do they mean? Like, it's not very clear because, like, as a character, she never really seems to be someone who's not kind, who's not courageous, who's not intelligent. She always has it. So it's kind of weird that they're like, sometimes she does and sometimes she doesn't. And like it doesn't reflect what's going on in the story at all, those stats. And if Azure were here, he would also state that this is a thing. He was also watching me play through the first 4 chapters, and we literally spent 8 hours trying to get on a route because of it. Like, he was also losing his mind, like, watching me trying to get on a route. Because I found out, as with a lot of visual novels, that 2 of the routes are locked. That you can't access 2 routes until you've gone through 1 route. Right. But you still get affection points for those 2 routes, even though you can't enter them. So I made a bunch of choices that went towards 1 route. And I had affection with him that was almost like to the roof. Like, the bar was so filled up. And then I got off the common route, and it's like, you're now in this other dude's route. And Asher and I were sitting there like we literally were just staring at the screen like, what? What happened? How did we end up here? It was so funny. And I just dropped my controller. But
lost control.
Yeah. And the thing is, I liked the character that we ended up on the route of, but as like a character rather than a route that I actually wanted to do. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try and get this other character, since I just found out the character my choices were going for, I can't access yet. So I tried getting this other character, and I died multiple times. I kept getting dead ends where I freaking died. And I was looking at walkthroughs. And I was still dying. Each time I'm like, this is the one. We're gonna do it this time. And Ashley's like, nah, you're gonna die again. And then I died again. And so finally I got on his route, and as soon as I entered his route, I was like, I'm gonna stop for now, and I think from now on I'm probably gonna use a walkthrough, because I love the story, I love the character, but I don't love the gameplay. Though I have heard that after the common route, the stat stuff doesn't really matter anymore. It's just like picking the love options, as with most visual novels, so I may not need a walkthrough for the second part, I hope. But those first 4 chapters, I was so very upset. But anyways, that's enough about Virushana. I would definitely be interested in maybe one day streaming it, but I would probably be like, we should probably just follow a walkthrough if we do it. Anyways, much to our dismay, some unsettling news awaited us as we reached the outskirts of Aizu Castle. The Aizu domain, after months of resistance, had finally tendered the terms of their surrender to the Imperial Army. Tendered.
That's interesting.
Okay. Oh, I forgot about this modern clothes. Look at that outfit.
Aizu's finally flown a white flag, have they? I'm surprised they lasted as long as they did.
I couldn't believe that the Aizu were defeated. When the Shinsengumi was still stationed in Kyoto, the Aizu served as one of their biggest allies and supplied them with armaments and support. So where is the Shinsengumi then? I felt my body trembled as I asked him, trying to steel myself from letting the trepidation take over. Had they, too, declared their surrender to the Imperial Army with the Aizu? I feared the worst. They gave all manners of brutal torture and imprisonment awaiting them. Would their fate be the same as Kondo's? Also, I love the idea of stuttering inside your head. And you didn't say it out loud, and you're still like, what?
I had Amagiri investigate the situation at once. Surely he will return with news soon.
Both Kazuma and Amagiri were affiliated with the Satsuma domain. I imagine it wasn't particularly difficult for either to ascertain key information in regards to the war front. Kazuma and I waited idly on the outskirts of the castle before Amagiri returned.
I have discovered the Shinsengumi's whereabouts.
I held my breath in anticipation. Although I had been begging for a sign, anything, really, of where they'd been, the circumstances of the defeat made me anxious of hearing the truth. Amagiri took a deep breath and spoke with a somber tone.
Allegedly, Okita, the captain of the 1st Division, has passed away from illness in Edo.
No! Okita! Rip. Rest in pieces. We could only have saved you if we went on your route, Dangsy.
As for Saito, he was last seen leading a battalion of Shinsengumi men in Bonari Pass, and has been missing in action. We can only assume the worst.
Wait. Oh, I was hoping that maybe we could, like, get a spoiler. What happened to him? My stomach sank like a stone in the ocean. Suddenly, my breaths were shallow and staggered. Okita and Saito were gone. Two of the most talented, heroic warriors in the Shinsengumi were now nothing but a faint memory, fading against the tide of an unstoppable army.
Nagakura, who was reported to have left the Shinsengumi months ago, is also missing in action.
I was speechless. I could only bite into my lips and look at the ground. Was Nagakura safe? Were any of them safe?
Sanan and Todo, both of whom led the furry corps under in Shinsengumi, were killed in combat by Imperial soldiers on the battlefield.
Wow, everyone's just dead!
Damn.
They're all gone! He's like, yeah, sorry, they're McFrickin' all dead. Heisuke and Sanan too?
The Imperial army was likely briefed on their use of the furries and their weaknesses by Kodo.
The deaths of Heisuke and Sanan were difficult to take in, and I was swirling in a pit of despair. They willingly gave up their humanity to become furries, and not even that could save them. What about the others? You mean, Hijikata? That's like the only guy left, right?
Not many left now.
Yeah. Oh, wait, no.
Is Harada already dead?
Yeah, Harada died, remember? We talked about him last time, being like, yeah, he died, and he was actually kind of sad about it, like the Valley Girl guy.
Oh, yeah.
He was upset about it. He was like, oh, we made an alliance, and then he died. Yeah. Yeah, he definitely did. Oh, I feel so bad. But then, yeah, I think Yamazaki died pretty early on too, right? Didn't they say
I
that,
think in
like,
the last game? Even.
Yeah. And so I think Hijikata is, like, legit the only one left when it talks about the others. Yeah, there we go!
Well, thankfully for you, Hijikata lives on, and is en route to Sendai with his remaining men currently.
My eyes shot wide open.
Did I hear correctly? Even with the Aizu being done and dusted, and the death of all his men, that little dog still got some bite, eh?
Kazuma was always the first one in line to scorn the Shinsegumi's actions, but this was different. His voice almost led me to believe that he was impressed by Hijikata, which was a little strange. So everyone's still putting up a fight, huh? No, well, not everyone. One person.
I mean, there's other nameless members, of course, but
yeah. Like, for the Shinsengumi, following the Battle of Toba Fushimi was nothing but one continuous adjustment to defeat. Even during the Battle of Kofu, when everything looked to be in their favor, the shogunate left them out to dry. Yet, they pushed forward with their heads held high.
What reasons have they scraped together to justify continuing this hopeless war? As I recall, the Tokugawa clan hasn't even declared them as retainers of the shogunate. I cannot fathom any reasons for them to risk their lives so needlessly. Yet, here they are.
I don't know either. There was one thing I did know. I celebrated internally, knowing that their spirits were unbroken despite their adverse circumstances.
Adverse circumstances being death.
Yeah.
Speaking as an outsider, all they're doing is hopping from one burial ground to the next. Can you honestly tell me that this is the future they've envisioned for themselves?
Yes. The Shinsegumi's steadfast dedication on the battlefield was a monument to the courage and principles of their fallen comrades.
I heard the remnants of the shogunate army are mobilizing in Sendai to depart for Ezo.
An island located off the coast of the Mutsu Peninsula, the Matsume domain controls a portion of it. It is now known as Hokkaido.
Hey.
Ezo?
It's far north of Oshu, a land located beyond the ocean's reaches.
Formerly known as the Mutsu Province, it is the country's northeastern region. As soon as he said it, my heart was set.
Do you plan on going to Azo as well?
Yes. Hijikata may be unaware of the news that some of the captains have passed away. With Okita having died in Edo and Harada dying back in Ueno, it was unclear to me if word of their passing had reached Hijikata in time. It was my duty to honor their memory by telling Hijikata myself. My eyes intently shifted to Kazuma. Kazuma, I want to travel to Ezo and meet up with whoever's left in the Shinsegumi. Before I continued, I took a brief moment to carefully calculate what I wanted to say. I inhaled, looking straight into Kazuma's eyes. I said...
I mean, it's obvious, right?
Yeah, I can't burden you any longer. That's so dumb. Get out of here. Come with me and witness the end.
That's a nice line.
Yeah, I love it. It feels very poetic to say, so let's say it.
Yeah.
Kazuma, would it be too much to ask if you'd join me?
Me? Go along with you?
As if this is
My future bride? Why would I want to be near you?
What the frick? He's like, whoa! Like, as if the rest of the round hasn't been this the entire time. Yes, I have a gut feeling that Ezo is the end of the road. I have a gut feeling. As if it isn't obvious. No battlefields were left untouched by the vicious torments of the war, and Ezo stood as the decisive scene in our history's most tumultuous chapter. I wouldn't say it's the most, but we haven't really gone to the most. So, I guess that's even more of a reason why I want to travel together, Kazuma. I want you with me when I witnessed the end of the Shinsegumi. It was surreal, if not strangely inappropriate of me to ask such a thing of Kazuma, but because Kazuma had been involved in so many duels with the Shinsegumi over the years, I wanted him to bear witness to what could possibly be the Shinsegumi's final intimate moments. Kazuma listened intently, and when I finished speaking, his lips curled into a smug grin. Oh, yay!
Hey. The end for them, you say? Very well. What an enticing offer. You're just gonna pull up some chairs, get some drinks, and
get some popcorn.
Get massacred on the battlefield.
Yeah, like commentating like it's a YouTube channel, like, hey guys!
Thanks for watching the end of the Shinsengumi.
Now I'm like imagining like some time travelers who like go around to famous parts in history and just like are off to the side like videotaping it and are like, hey
Don't forget
guys!
to subscribe and hit the bell. It really helps us grow our channel. We need a lot of money to fund our time machine. It's very expensive to use.
Yeah, basically. They're like,
before we start the battle, I want to thank today's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. If you too want to participate in epic battles.
Without having to use a time machine to go to actual horrifying battles.
Oh, God.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I was flushed with relief at Kazuma's acceptance of my proposal. It felt like ages since anyone could coax a sincere smile out of me.
Well, we'd better get moving to Sendai. It'd be a shame if the boat to Azo leaves before we arrive.
I like how this entire route, besides like us like beating up our family, has mostly just been like chasing after the Shinsegumi. Like the Shinsegumi are doing stuff somewhere and we're just like running after them.
Yeah.
Sayonara, Amagiri.
Solaba.
We bid farewell to Amagiri and turned around in the direction of Sendai when...
Hold on a minute, you two. There's someone here who wants to speak with you.
Why did you wait till that moment to say it, huh?
It's more dramatic.
Yeah. I spun back around to face Amagiri it was. Oh, it's Shiranui! Yeah, I almost forgot. There you are. Looks like you've made it to Aizu in one piece. Shiranui! What are you doing here? Are you here with the Imperial Army? No, I just raced to Aizu to bring you something. Shiranui looked forlorn as he reached for a long, narrow spear he'd been carrying on his back. Is that Haruda's? He really did have a crush on him!
Definitely.
Oh, I feel so bad for him. Shiranui.
100%.
Yeah, Shiranui deserved better. Unfortunately, yes, I was unable to reach the Shinsengumi in time. If he had lived, then I believe he'd still be here fighting by everyone's side. He was tenacious. He was the Ken to my Barbie. I timidly grabbed hold of Haruda's memento. It was tattered with deep scratches and scuffs, giving me a sense of how valiantly he must have fought against the savage wave of furries.
Shiranui, you're an ally of the Chosu, are you not?
No, idiot. No, baka. I don't answer to the Chosu, only Takasugi. Besides, human history is written by the victors, and everyone else is cast to the dust. So far be it for me to let their history speak for me.
Smells like bullshit to me.
Shiranui grimaced at Kazuma playfully, then turned to face me. You still plan on following where the Shinsegumi's headed, right? Yes, or at least I hope so. Well, then can you tell them something for me? Tell them that Haruda, the captain of the 10th Division, was one of the bravest, most ferocious, most attractive warriors I've ever met.
This guy's down bad, man.
Yeah. Shiranui. Oh my gosh, ship. Shiranui was nowhere near as bad as Kazuma, but
good enough for me to declare it canon.
Yeah, I mean, for real.
Pretty obvious, yeah.
We've been robbed by all the ships. We could have had a full Shiranui x Haruda route. We could have had a full,
just abandon the protagonist and go with two side characters.
Yeah! Let's go!
That'd be so funny.
Or having just a Hakuoki side game where instead you play as one of the guys and you get a date.
DLC.
Yeah, exactly. And we also with Sen and Chizuru, we were robbed of that too.
Yep, definitely.
Raising humans wasn't exactly one of his habits, especially to the degree he described Haruda. Imagining what he witnessed with Haruda moved me almost as much as it must have moved him, and a bittersweet warmth swelled in my chest. Understood. I promise I'll pass along the word.
Don't bother. Isn't this just another worm you've let crawl into your insipid heart? Oh, it's definitely very clear now.
Well, look who's talking. Who was it exactly that you came all the way to Aizu for? I bet you're just as curious in seeing what's going to happen to the Shinsengumi. Meow.
Yeah, oh, you can hear it.
Yeah, I love him so much.
Hardly. I'm merely a passenger of circumstance, which has taken me on the same path as them. Enough wasting time, Yukimura. It is time for us to leave for Sendai.
Okay, well then, Amagiri and Shiranui, please take care of yourselves. As we bid the two of them another farewell, Kazuma and I saw ourselves out of Aizu. Here we go! After a day of travel, he and I reached the town of Sendai, but it was conspicuously quiet. I wonder if the Shinsegumi's already left for Eizo.
It appears as though the boat has already left the harbor. I believe we just missed it.
Oh my god!
It's Shiranui's fault.
Yeah, Shiranui wanted to gush about his dead crush to us first.
They couldn't have gotten far, so we may be able to see their boat. Do you want to try?
Of course, let's go.
We'll swim over to it.
Yeah. I mean, we are demons. We could probably do it. Like, it's like we start kicking it. It's like a motorboat, like, across the water. And so they look over their boat, and, like, he kind of looks over and just sees Chizuru and Kazuma just going with their legs.
It's not the type of motorboating I was hoping for.
Oh my gosh, I wasn't expecting that, but that was good. Kazuma and I ascended a nearby beach bluff where we hoped to get a clearer view. A cascade of maroon sparkled across the vast sea in reflection of the wide sunset, and in the distance we watched the shadow of the boat in the horizon. If I wasn't mistaken, they looked to be sailing upon a black ship. A warship which was used by Commodore Matthew Perry when he first visited Japan with the intention of opening up its borders. Do you think that's where the Shinsegumi is in that ship over there?
One would assume.
I had traveled the entire country searching for them. Now, once again, I had just barely missed them, and I was left in the dust. A sharp pain shot up my nose, and suddenly I found myself fighting back a wave of tears. I dug my teeth into my lower lip, hopefully not to let the deluge of self-pity come to the surface.
If you want to cry so badly, then why don't you?
No. Yeah. I shook my head quietly. Only because I can only imagine how much pain they're in right now. I mean, just because somebody else is going through something worse than you doesn't mean your pain isn't less valid.
Yeah.
Like, I always hate, like, when it's like, oh, I've had, like, this terrible day, and people will be like, well, but there's, like, people starving somewhere. At least you're not, like,
There's war going on.
Yeah,
right now?
and it's like, that doesn't mean that what I'm going through or what somebody else is going through is necessarily less. Like, the pain is still pain. Everybody deserves to, like, you know, accept their feelings and be comforted. Like, just because somebody or like, I saw like, I always hear, like, people talking about, like, oh, my grandpa or whatever went through so much worse trauma than we had to go through now, and he was just fine. And it's like, nah, your grandpa was dealing with, like, PTSD and trauma and everything. Yeah, he was not fine.
Your grandpa's not fine.
Yeah. He was also going through pain, just as you're going through pain. And we all, you know, deserve kindness and the ability to express our emotions, even though society tries to tell us that we are not supposed to.
Yeah.
I have no right to shed tears when it's not me who's fighting out there. Kazuma sighed out of frustration and shut his eyes. He paused briefly, shifting his eyes back and forth.
You know, just because you're no good with a sword doesn't mean you're not fighting. Although your methods are quite different than Shinsengumi's. You've had your own demons to fight.
This is like
me.
Amazing. Though I will say this might be one of the most intelligent things Kazuma has said this entire game.
Yeah, he's basically saying what you said.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, he's actually smart sometimes, TM.
IQ 80, EQ 200.
Heck yeah.
Even I notice it.
It felt so warm to hear Kazuma's gentle words of encouragement towards how much I'd been through. After seeing Father's death, my lukewarm reunion with Kaoru, revisiting the village of my birth, then when we arrived in Aizu, I had been confronted with the crushing blow of hearing what became of all my old friends in the Shinsegumi, and tempest of grief gathered its winds in my heart, swirling with fervor as I tried not to collapse. I can't cry. If I do, then my vision will blur the view of the ship upon which everyone had been traveling.
I'll turn around if you like. Cry as much as you wish.
Kazuma pointed his nose towards the ocean, which glowed with hues of orange in the gold under the glimmer of the late afternoon. In this moment, the leaf holding back my tears broke, and everything snapped. Of of Kazuma's CGs are really good.
Yeah.
I instinctively grabbed a hold of the shirt on Kazuma's back. I buried my face into his back, wailing as quietly as I could. Also, I would wear Chizuru's modern outfit.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Like, I would absolutely cosplay it. After believing that I could catch up to them, yet again they slipped from the tips of my fingers. The ship was
Are there no
beginning
other ships?
Yeah, I mean, it's just Hijikata and some peeps, that's it. Oh, are you saying, like, we couldn't just follow them? Well, but then, like, it might be too late by the time we get there anyway.
True. I guess it's not that easy to just get a ship. I don't know. I mean, they don't actually have, like, a lot of money, probably.
Yeah.
And it's like a war going on, so people wouldn't want to sail there.
Yeah, like, it would also draw probably undue attention to themselves.
Yeah.
You know? The ship was beginning to vanish beyond the horizon, sailing into the ocean's furthest tendrils. Soon they disappeared from sight. I listened to the roar of the sea crashing behind me, and Kazuma spoke up.
I promise you, I will take you to them. Just be patient, okay?
I just imagine, like, we come to their gravestones and he's like, see, I took you to them finally.
I think that might actually be what he means.
Yeah. I bet you can tell that I've forgotten, like, most of, like, what happens in this game. Like, the only reason I remember Okita's route so well is because I recently played it again while we were doing all of this, so I remember it very vividly. But
well, you've never done Kazuma's route before, right?
No, I've played through all the game before, but it was all the way back in, like, 2016. So it's been many years, so I've forgotten, like, most of what happens. Oh, wait, no, yeah, and I haven't played Kazuma's route because it's different in the original game than this as well. So there's that, too.
It's actual new content.
Yeah, it's actually new content for me. Kazuma, who previously seemed...
do not spoil.
Yeah, basically. Who previously seemed hell-bent on abducting me at any cost from the Shinsengumi. Now the shoe was on the other foot, and he had promised to keep me safe on this last journey. Although I had no idea when it actually happened, I was determined to see this to its conclusion. I must head to Ezo, the land at the end of the world. Oh, maybe we are going by boat? We just are a bit late.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Oh, final chapter!
Uh-oh.
Our initial attempts to leave the harbor for Ezo, hot in our pursuit for the Shinsengumi, were fruitless. Negotiating with ship captains to allow two random strangers, who for all intents and purposes were no more than fugitives, was a difficult sell. Yeah, as we were saying. Yeah. Kazuma sensed that our search would require more time than we originally anticipated, so he rented a nearby mansion and said, for the time being. What the freak? What?
If you have the money to rent a fucking mansion, you can buy a boat.
Yeah, I don't understand. What?
Where does this money come from?
Yeah, I mean, he is supposed to be like a head of a big demon clan or whatever, so
yeah,
I guess
but
he's...
like, first of all, where do demons get their money? And second, like, how does he have access to those funds right now?
Yeah, and also, I mean, I get why it may be easier to rent a place than it is to get on a boat, because, like, with the war going on, like, getting on a boat, I think
Still
maybe...
feels weird.
Yeah. Funnily enough, I was becoming accustomed to my cozy life in Sendai. May 1869, Ayo. Word reached us of the Imperial Army's successful invasion in Hakodate. Leaving no stone unturned as the occupying forces swept through the port city. A port town that had been open to foreign influence after the passing of the Kanagawa Treaty, later flourishing from the sudden influx of trade and commerce.
Alrighty then.
Mm-hmm. I became too distracted to continue sewing. Sewing. Heaving a
I'll
small...
sue your head.
I got distracted to continue suing random individuals.
Objection!
Heaving a small sigh to myself at the comfort of the man. Oh my gosh, what if they made like a remake of Hakuoki, but instead of it being like this, it's like a lawyer sim.
Oh, no.
Like Ace Attorney. And you play as Shizuru and she's like, objection!
It's all like complicated politics stuff.
Yeah, it would work. It would work. Almost a month had passed since we heard about the report of the massive invasion in Hakodate. But even as the threat of conflict loomed in a nearby city, leads for a means to reach Ezo were elusive. For a second, I was like, Our circumstances became particularly dire when in April, former shogunate soldiers attacked ships from the Imperial Fleet in Miyako Bay, a lively coastal port city where the Imperial Army docked their immense naval fleet. Currently it is known as the Iwate Prefecture. Thanks to increased security enforcements around each port and harbor around the country, locating a suitable ship for a civilian like me was impossible. It had been almost an entire year since my separation from the Shinsengumi. Yeah, which only worsened my anxiety about realistically being able to find them. Would we ever reunite, assuming they were still alive? It wasn't that Kazuma's promise of safety reaching Ezo was wearing thin with me, but each day without progress was making me impatient. I wonder if Kazuma will return soon. Kazuma and Amagiri ventured tirelessly around every market and tavern, eavesdropping on conversations to gather intelligence and leads for transport to Ezo. For myself, I was tasked with keeping the homestead tidy, taking each day to prepare meals and perform seamstress duties, like a traditional wife.
Yep.
My ear perked up in reaction to the sound of the door sliding open, and I straightened my back reflexively.
Home.
Tadaima, he says.
Yeah. Tadaima.
Okaeri nasai! I sincerely appreciate all that you've done for us today. Speaking of which, were you able to hear any leads about ships departing? His silence was deafening. No such luck today. Kazuma had seemed especially aggrieved, however, given his slumped body language. Kazuma, did something happen out there? I've got a feeling you're keeping something from me. Kazuma? Kazuma! Kazuma!
In the silent treatment. Rough.
It's like Snake! Snake!
He's
Snake!
mad because dinner isn't ready when he got home.
Yeah. Kazuma's mannerisms and his phallus moves were uncannily cat-like, dismissive to a spiteful degree. I knew that sitting idly by, however, would only give him an opportunity to let his attitude fester.
They're already a married couple.
Yeah, they're basically a married couple! Regardless, thank you for searching for our sake. I know, right? I mean, look at the CG already so far. I'm going to begin preparations for dinner, so by all means, please make yourself comfortable. Or would you rather I draw you wow, she has truly just become a wife! Dang, see!
It's gonna be the meme. Like,
Yeah.
would you like dinner, a bath, or...
Yeah, or...
Neither. Well, he's going for this third option.
Yeah. Oh, snap.
My throat is rather dry, so I desire a cup of sake before dinner. Fetch me a bottle at once. Oh, jeez. Great husband.
I'm only going to grab you one, okay? Drinking too much isn't good for your health. Like, this literally feels like I'm watching, like, a Japanese sitcom or something right now. Like, the archetype of, like, the perfect wife and husband.
Yeah.
Like, this
Perfect wife and husband who comes home and just complains and drinks.
Yeah, and she's all like, oh, what would you like? Oh, okay. I'm a happy wife. Yeah, I'll do whatever you want.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
Well, he's also an idiot, which also fits with the archetype for a sitcom.
Yeah, yeah, he does. It's so
He's
perfect.
only too attractive to be one. But that's
Yeah. Oh my god.
I bring death to those who threaten to waste my precious time. You worry about my health?
You know, Cosma in this scene kind of reminds me of a lot of like dating sim games where it's a male protagonist and a bunch of girls. He's like the male protagonist and Chizuru is one of the dating options.
It's like the childhood friend.
Yeah.
Besides, sake is more of a medicine than poison. And as you've noticed, I'm ill. Make it 3 bottles. Holy shit! I hope you've got a demon liver.
Oh, is she mad?
Not happy about that.
You just see the change from the I'm happy wife to
Like
be mad.
So good.
Yeah, it's like the ones where it's like they take the picture of someone smiling and they just morph it so that it's a frown. Yeah. Oh my god. Hey, don't take your frustrations out on me. Also, it's only a medicine when you drink in moderation, not when you're pissed drunk.
This marriage is doomed before.
Yeah, they're already talking like an old married couple who've been married for like 50 years. Like, stop it with the drinking already.
Oh no.
I told you for 200 plus times throughout our 50-year marriage to stop doing it. Haven't you heard the phrase, the last drop makes the cup run over? Kazuma glared at me repugnantly, no doubt incensed by my brevity in challenging him, but after having spent nearly every moment of close to a year with him, I was beginning to peel back the layers, making his behaviors a bit easier to decode.
Sound effect?
It's literally like in anime when the line is between two people who are staring at each other.
Sparks between their eyes.
Yeah, we got. I wish they even like drew, like they changed the CG to have like the line in between them. It would have been great. Our intense stare went on for a few more moments, pressure bubbling to the surface like sulfur. As tension reached a breaking point, the two of us broke the silence at the exact same time. Fine. Oh wait, no, that's you.
2 will do.
Oh, very well. I will prepare 2 for you. It's like when you go to like the market to like bargain, and you're like, I'll pay this much, and the person's like, well, I'll pay this much, and then you kind of pick the middle ground of like, okay, I'll pay this much, and they're like, deal. This is what happened just now.
Yeah, I'm getting the distinct feeling that Kazuma really doesn't know anything else other than fighting, so now that he's not doing that, he just doesn't know what to do with himself.
Yeah. Oh. Found myself more comfortable with Cosmo's petulant veneer, giving me the confidence to assert myself more and more often.
How playfully cavalier of you. So far, neither a vessel nor a location of one has been ascertained. Doesn't this bother you?
Well, I can't help but grow anxious, yes, but I realized while speaking to Cosma that I am grateful?
I would still say powerless, even though it's...
I feel like grateful might... Because powerless
it's the most
kind
positive
of...
towards him, but...
Yeah. That's how I always think when it comes to dating sims. It's not, oh, what is the right thing?
I want to believe that it's sometimes more interesting than that, but
nah,
often
it's
not.
A dating sim. I'm just thinking, my reasoning wasn't even that, though. It was more of like, the whole reason we had that whole scene was to make was to cheer him up. Basically, like he himself was feeling powerless. Yeah. Like that's why he was so upset. He's so used to, being able to just storm his way through things and get what he wants. But this is the one time where he can't. And I feel like us saying we feel powerless would be like just undermining everything we just did to make him feel better.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if we say we're grateful, it shows that we understand that he is trying, and that even if he's not succeeding, like, that we understand that he's still trying. And it might even push him to finally, like, be able to do it instead of just giving up, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That was kind of my thought process. But we'll go with whatever you say, Rolf.
No, now it's my fault. I still want to go with powerless.
Powerless? Okie doke.
It's probably wrong, but... Oh, it's playing the music like it's the right choice.
Yeah, nothing good can come from impatience, so it's best for you to relax in the meantime. You're the one who said that to me, Kazuma, back in Aizu. I looked Kazuma squarely in the face. Sweat trickled down the back of my neck until he shut his eyes, forming his mouth into a thin grin.
I see. It pleases me to see you're finally gaining some sense, girl.
I know where I stand here. I recognize that I'm powerless in this situation. All I can do is prepare myself for the next step accordingly, wherever that moment comes. And of course, find some means of repaying you and Amigiri for all your hard-fought efforts.
Quite admirable of you, really. Your growing self-awareness has not gone unnoticed.
Suddenly, Kazuma's expression dropped, and he appeared stern without missing a beat. Kazuma?
Earlier you had a question. I have a response.
Oh yes! My heart seemed keen on bursting out from my chest, wondering if he had in fact located a ship. Well, did he just say he did?
Yeah, I think he probably heard that Hijikata died or something.
Yeah.
So,
After clearing my throat, I cupped my hands together, interlocking my fingers as I awaited his answer politely. Nothing could prepare me for what he said. Oh no.
actually, this will be a better discussion for after we've eaten. Prepare yourself in the meantime.
Oh, that's actually really sweet. Like, if it really is something as terrible as we're probably thinking it is, like, to make sure that she eats some food, like, she gets some food in herself before, like, the shock of whatever is about to be revealed makes her not hungry.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of a pretty healthy way to go about it. Gives her time to grieve while also making sure she gets, like, the sustenance beforehand. Our meal was shared in silence. Oh, and I guess it was wrong. Because we didn't get the butterfly effect.
It could still happen later, but sometimes it takes a while.
Yeah. Our meal was shared in
right.
silence, and I had trouble finding room for my last piece of pickled plum in my stomach, so I stood up to gather the dishes. After cleaning all the plates and utensils, I sat back down in front of Kazuma calmly, waiting for him to share any possible information about a suitable ship, I mean. Also, I keep
discussing ships.
Heck yeah. Like, oh, did you see how Shirayui talked about Haruda? That was pretty great.
Oh, man.
And Kazuma was like, yeah, I probably would have helped them get together if Haruda was an Orea corpse. Dang, see.
So, in regards to leaving for Ezo, the Satsuma have graciously offered us permission to board their ship.
Oh, that's like a both good and bad news. Because on the one hand, we get to go and meet them, but on the other hand, we're meeting them from like the enemy ship.
Yeah.
Which is both good and bad. Really? Nandato?
Use your brain. In what way would lying to you benefit me?
No, that's not what I mean by really, Kazuma. Arigato! At long last, I can finally reunite with all my friends and well, no, you can't, because literally almost all of them are dead, except for one guy.
Yeah.
Euphoric tears formed behind my eyelids, and out of reflex, I bowed once more to Kazuma. As his usual custom, he bore no immediate reaction, his expression unchanged from his hard-nosed stare. Kazuma?
I cannot guarantee that either of us will find them, however. In all honesty, the chances are slim to none.
What? Nani? Somehow the message behind his words failed to register in my mind and I fell silent. Why not? We're still going to take our chances aboard that ship, aren't we? I had a sneaky suspicion that things were about to take a turn, which spurned the furious pounding of my restless heart. His words were spoken eerily, worming its way into my mind like a haunting premonition. Yeah. Only one... Oh, wait, that's you.
Only one fortress has withstood the tide of change, making its surrender in Hakodate all but inevitable. Fate has spoken. I do not anticipate this trip to be fortuitous, even if they have not tended a surrender.
I held my breath all along, predicting the worst, but for those fears to have been realized by Kazuma's cynicism was nothing that I could prepare for. Years of blood, toil, and sweat spent in countless battlefields over the corpses of friends and foes, gone. The struggle of loss reduced to a single word. They gracefully overcame defeat time and time again, but the Shinsengumi swan song was imminent. My heart sank like a stone to the pit of my stomach. I could barely breathe. By the time we set sail for Ezo, there may not be anyone alive to greet us. So perhaps my desire to reunite with all of them, like all other emotions in this desolate place, was unfounded. I tried my best to avoid sinking into a depression in front of Kazuma. I filled my hands nervously in my lap. Just then, Kazuma reached his hand over to me aggressively as I was on the brink of fainting.
Stand. Back in Aizu, you committed yourself to witnessing the end of Shinsengumi firsthand. Or were those all hollow gestures?
I wasn't lying. His words slapped me across the face. Kazuma had a habit of provoking my insecurities as if he took pleasure from seeing me panic. For some reason, this time was different. This time, he struck a pointed nerve.
So, if you were being truthful, then it must be clear to you their signs of pride, the journey they've traveled, and how you are woven into their myth. Although your tenure together may have been brief, remember them as they were. Remember how they honored the path of the samurai. This duty is yours alone. Should you survive, then you will be the sole keeper of their memory.
I wonder if this is like trying to suggest that within the Hakuoki universe, Chizuru is like the historian that manages to keep like the memory of the Shinsengumi alive despite their defeat.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Now, unlike any moment prior, was the moment I realized how fiercely Kazuma's crimson eyes burned, how they could inspire me to do anything. Okay. All I could muster was a nod in response. It was still too soon for me to accept the grief, let alone wallow in a pool of sorrow. But we're still able to board the ship, right?
Yes.
Okay, then let's leave for Ezo to see the Shinsengumi, whatever state they're in. Upon hearing my response, Kazuma malformed a grin, and I swore there was a twinkle in his eye.
Very well. I shall take you there. Besides, I vowed to do so. You can always count on a demon to be true to their word. That is something you can count upon.
I mean, you said it twice there. Also, I still can't believe we're in the last chapter of this. Crazy. Thank you.
It's been a journey.
Yep, it has. I took a deep gulp, letting myself process the weight of the undertaking I had just accepted before bowing. Thinking back on it, my father and my brother, in fact, almost every warrior I'd ever met, imparted to me something significant before they passed on. My heart was keenly aware that another memory, as Kazuma described, would be waiting for me in Ezo. It was the end of a long, long war. I was sure that my journey with the Shinsengumi too would succumb at this war's accumulation, and nothing I said or did would ever fully prepare me. After a few days of packing and preparations, we boarded a hulking Satsuma ship to Ezo. The sense of solemn rest greeted my nose as we boarded the ship, and I thought about the strings pulled by Kazuma and Amagiri to make this happen. Also, I don't know if you can see it, but Wolski is, like, switching between games, like, every couple minutes, and the thing keeps popping up. Like, he'll be playing one game, and then a couple minutes later, a completely different game, and I think it's funny. Every time I see it, I'm like, oh, there he goes, picking a different game. My initial impressions of them were as heartless monsters bent on destroying the Shinsengumi, but here I found myself thanking them repeatedly. No matter how many times I said it never captured how indebted I had felt to their kindness.
The time has come, shall we?
Yes, let's go. A faint smile curled in the corner of Cosmo's lips. As the summer solstice fast approached, the sun's rays became a harsh kiss upon my skin. By nightfall, however, the searing heat vanished in lieu of the ocean breeze chilling me to the bone. Beyond this stretch of sea were the remaining members of the Shinsengumi. I had only heard legends of Ezo, but from what I knew of it, it was a bleak, frigid landscape that was covered in snow throughout half the year. I wondered to myself how the men were coping, how they steeled themselves to battle each day. As I found myself lost in a moment of reflection, I was startled to see Cosmo suddenly next to me.
We should arrive in Ezo no later than tomorrow. Have you given any more consideration to your aim in witnessing the Shinsengumi's final moment?
My gaze fell to the floor silently. I thought that I was ready for it all along, but I had some hesitation in seeing it for myself. The reality was the number of men who had fought and sacrificed their lives was a mystery to me, and I had been oblivious about it for some time. For I knew the men whom I so desperately pined to see were long gone, their bodies ravaged in unspeakable ways. Kondo, Sanan, Okita, Saito, Heisuke, Harada, all of them have already died. We know that. Over the past year, news of their deaths traveled to me while tending to my own business with Cosma. I fooled myself into thinking that somehow not bearing firsthand witness to their deaths meant there was a chance they were still alive, but I must see it for myself. I want to see their grit, their conviction. I want to be there for them when it all comes to a close. Since we are their memory keepers, we must witness every second of it for the sake of its truth. Cosmo kept his stare fixed on the northern star, which flickered softly above a sparkling ocean. It took a while for him to speak, and when he did...
I detest the cold. Okay. I hate sand. It's cold and wet and it's wet everywhere.
I can't believe Cosmo is Anakin Skywalker. I hate sand. It's coarse and rough and gets everywhere.
Let us return inside.
I followed shortly after him, hearing the waves crash against the side of the ship as we went inside. Just as Cosmo had predicted, our vessel reached the outskirts of Ezo by the very next day. In order to approach the harbor, we moved onto a smaller ship, dropping anchor in Nana Ehama. However, it hadn't taken very long before others took notice of our arrival. Ah! Cannon fire bellowed all around us, cracking like thunder as they flew through the air and shook the ground underneath our feet.
This way.
Cosmo instantly grabbed a hold of my arm, yanking me closer to shield me. Thank you. That was a cannon, wasn't it? So that must mean...
Means we stumbled right into the thick of it, haven't we?
My heart dropped, realizing that the Shinsengumi were likely fighting for their lives at this moment. As I attempted to break into a sprint to search for them,
Wait.
Cosmo wrapped his arms around my shoulders, and my body went numb in his tender embrace.
Gonna snap her neck.
Yeah, he's like, oh, actually, I changed my mind. Snap. Cosmo? I will say, I absolutely love his CGs. I've stated it several times this episode, but I feel like I have to point it out, because every single one has been, like, really good.
They're very good, yeah.
The suddenness of his gesture had thrown me off entirely. Was Cosmo simply trying to protect me from the shower of bullets and cannon fire raining above? Or was it something more? Something the matter? He offered no immediate answer. In fact, I was totally in the dark about why Cosmo was acting the way he was, given that I had no view of his expression to glance at. Instead, I could only rely upon the tight warmth of his embrace before he responded.
Nothing can deter you from going, can it? There is still a chance of saving yourself from the pain of watching their demise unfold.
Weren't you the one that pushed us to going?
Yeah.
Now you're like, actually, I changed my mind. Contrary to our initial... Oh, yeah, see, look! Contrary to our initial discussion, Kazuma seemed less concerned with the fact that I wanted to go. The focus instead was upon my...
Bastard.
Yeah. Yep. Upon my well-being, asking the question about whether I was ready to handle it all. It begged an answer, one that still needed forming. Well, a lump formed in my throat as I questioned myself. Moments from now, whether or not I had adequately prepared myself for it, I may encounter the corpses of Hijikata, Shimada, Soma, and Nomura. Oh yeah, Shimada's still alive.
Ah, yeah.
Oh, this dude, I forgot about him. Who the heck is this guy? Who is this? I don't think...
Like one scene.
Yeah, I think he was in one scene and that's it. But she's like, oh yeah, my best friend Nomura. Yeah. It's like that one, you know that one episode of Rick and Morty where they get like these false memories about people that because of like some parasites or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's my best friend this person or a great uncle this person. Is like, who? Who? Could I, like the rest of the Shinsengumi men, grapple with loss, conquer it, and come out all the stronger? I gritted my teeth. I mustn't have any doubts. I had to come to the decision. Yes, I'll go to where everyone is fighting. And I added, this one? Will you stay with me until the bitter end? I think is good. Okay.
No.
Yeah. He's like, nah, actually, goodbye. He starts
I'm
walking
getting back
away.
on the ship. See ya.
But I do have one request.
What is it?
Aww.
Oh.
I placed my hand softly upon his. I mean, we're not really placing our hand on his. We're placing our hands on his arm. Which was still coiled around my body. Will you stay with me until the bitter end? If I were to stand witness to Shinsegumi's demise and it becomes difficult for me to keep my composure, let alone stand, would you be there to lift me back up with these hands? I sensed Kazuma's muscles tighten in his face, which I could have sworn was a smile given the closeness and proximity between our bodies. It only took him a beat to conjure a reply. Oh, we did it! Woo!
How stupid of you to ask. Do you take me for a charlatan who goes back on his word? I will follow you no matter the distance.
A part of me expected him to respond as much, but hearing those words fall so comfortably from his mouth invoked a warm feeling in my stomach. Although his response was rather arrogant, its delivery was muted by the way his arms pinned me next to his beating heart, and through his intimate expression, he laid bare his truthful self. Thank you. I was beginning to lose count of how many times I had thanked Kazuma during our time together. Because of him, I was alive, ready to confront whatever came next. One day we should play the high school version of this game, because I think that version is absolutely hilarious.
It would be funny, yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny. Kazuma and I continued our cautious approach towards the area of Goryokaku. Our walk was interrupted when Kazuma said,
Wait.
His command was curt and sudden.
I have to piss. I'm going behind this.
Heck yeah.
Hear that. The cannon fire has ceased.
Huh, now that you mention it, the silence was far more eerie than the score of cannon fire that was roaring moments earlier. Do you think that the Shogunate forces have all been destroyed? Oh, Kazuma, because you stopped us for 2 seconds, we now don't get to see them. It's Shiranui talking about his crotch all over again.
Oh, no.
No. My ponderous question fell on Kazuma's deaf ears as he pursed his lips in a moment of contemplation.
Perhaps fate is telling us something. Something we won't know until we reach Goryokaku. Let's move.
Okay. Kazuma's body language was suggestive enough for me to assume what may have happened, but there was no way of knowing for sure. Each step closer to Goryokaku unsettled my nerves. There was nothing to do but push forward, readying ourselves for whatever threats await us. June 18th, 1869. The government of Hakodate, after weeks of resistance, finally tendered their terms of surrender over the newly formed Meiji government. Over a year and a half removed from the events of the Battle of Toba Fushimi, the war was drawing to a close. Our arrival in Goryokaku was greeted with a bevy of familiar faces, forewarned by the news of surrender.
Hey.
Shimada! Soma, oh my goodness, I can't believe the two of you are safe. I'm not going to say all of you because that's not a lot of people, but the two of you are safe.
Yeah. Yukimura, since when have you been in Edo?
Our ship docked just the other day. It's been too long. There's so much I have to tell you guys.
She'd be fine, she's a demon.
Yeah.
Enough of your petulant whining. As long as she is under my protection, there shall be no such threats to her safety. Especially once as harmless as you describe. Kasama! Aren't you the lord of a demon clan? State your business with Yukimura. She's my waifu.
Yeah, basically. Actually, Kazuma was my escort to Ezo. That just makes me imagine, like, in the high school universe, Kazuma has, like, a chibi, like, figurine of Chizuru.
Oh no, he has her Funko Pop.
Yeah, he has her Funko Pop. It was natural for Soma and Shimada to have aroused suspicions regarding Kazuma, considering he played them for years as a... Wait, I think that guy was one of the routes that we never saw anything of when we played the OG game.
I think so.
Because there was one guy that was still grayed out after we beat even Kazuma's route. And we were like, who is this guy? And it turned, I think this is the man. It was natural for Soma and Shimada to have aroused suspicion. Oh wait, I have already said that. The two Shinsengumi men looked at one another with puzzled expressions. So, are the men here what remains of the Shinsengumi? What happened to Hijikata and Nomura? Soma slumped his shoulders, biting into his lip. My stomach sank, anticipating his answer from the immediacy of his soured body language. Big beef. Nothing could soften the blow of someone notifying you that your friend passed away. No matter how even though we don't really remember that dude. No matter how many times we were given news of someone passing, it absolutely shattered me.
He died? Oh no! Wait, who was he again?
Yeah, who was he again? And Hijikata?
Some of the Northern Alliance forces were pushed back by the Imperial Army over at the Benton Fortress, so Hijikata left to lead reinforcements. We received word that he too was killed in action during the battle.
Wow!
Well, he died off screen.
Yeah, he died off screen too. The only guy we got to see was Shimada.
It's not the last person I expected to see.
Yeah, I know, right? And the other
but
guy
I guess
too.
it's all determined by history anyway, so...
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Yeah. Even Hijikata, the fearless leader of the Shinsengumi who picked up the pieces after the execution of his beloved predecessor, was not spared from this war.
We have yet, mind you, to discover Hijikata's remains. All we have for now is some information we coaxed from an Imperial soldier who encountered Hijikata.
I think it would be funny if Hijikata appeared like, actually, I'm not dead. Hi, guys.
Rumors of my death were greatly exaggerated.
Yeah.
What business do I have? What the fuck is that guy's voice again?
You're giving him Kazuma's voice.
I think Kazuma's voice has slowly morphed into Hijikata's voice, and they now have the same one. Yeah.
No, like Hijikata's is more like it's less like you have Kazuma's is a bit higher pitched than Hijikata's voice. Hijikata's voice was a bit deeper.
What business do I have, you ask? I should kill you right now for wasting my time with this question. When the commander of the Shinsengumi, Toshizo Hijikata, comes knocking, you better answer the fucking door.
I love it every time they curse. It's so good.
Yeah, especially since it doesn't fit like the tone of voice that
Yeah.
they've given him at all.
Yeah. So good.
I'll just lean into it now since, you know.
Yeah,
I'm gonna kill every last one of you impotent bastards until there's none left. See you in hell.
I love it. Oh my gosh. Amazing.
You motherfuckers. I'll just do all his lines and my teeth clenched together.
Heck yeah. From what Shimada was describing, it was the most fitting end for Hijikata that I could have imagined. By virtue of his unstoppable rage, Hijikata lifted the Shinsengumi by the scruff of its neck and led its front line proudly like a cat.
Too angry to die.
Yeah. The remnants of the Shinsengumi preserved in honor of the memory of his famous last stand.
Sabaton is definitely gonna write a song about it.
Yeah.
Soma, was it? Word is that you are responsible for tendering the Shinsengumi's surrender. Whoa, geez, what a line. Tendering the Shinsengumi's surrender, now that you've been promoted to chief. What compelled you to do something like that? Surely it scares you to think your head may end up in a pike, just like Kondo's did.
立場の違いで新政府と戦うことになりましたが、我々は罪を犯したわけではありませんから、局長や副長の志を誰かが受け継ぐべきだと、そう思っただけです。
Kazuma beamed with pride as he stared down at Soma's resolute expression. Then he smirked wryly before speaking.
Just what they need. Another fool who can't think 2 steps ahead.
I'm sad that we didn't see much of Soma, because just from the short interaction, I kind of like him. I'm sad that we didn't really get to see any of him.
Look alive, kid. The war's over. The way you're doing things, you might as well etch a line on your neck so they know where to swing.
どういう意味だそれは?
Oh, this voice actor is...
Yeah.
God damn it, who is it? I
He's
think it's Eren Yeager as well.
Yeah, he's a very famous voice. Like, pretty much most of the voice actors in this game, like, since we have them mostly shut off, it's hard, it's impossible to tell, but most of them are...
been dating Eren Yeager.
Yeah. They all are pretty... Well, not all, but most of them are pretty famous voice actors. Like, I recognize a lot of them.
Yeah.
Calm down, Soma. Kazuma doesn't mean any harm by that.
Judgment time's coming up for them. Means we need to leave. Now.
Oh, Kazuma!
Yes, please go with him, Yukimura. We've not much time before the Imperial forces arrive.
Well then, Shimada, Soma, please take care of yourselves.
Will do. The feeling is mutual, Yukimura.
もしかしたらもうお会いできないかもしれませんが、お元気で。
See you in the next life when we're in a high school setting. Let's go. They sent us off warmly, waving in the distance with pleasant smiles, but I knew their path was not an easy one. The Shinsengumi were branded as war criminals. For Soma, who had willingly assumed the rank of chief in the ensuing vacuum of power, his fate seemed almost cruelly preordained. I felt nothing but respect for them, however. They held on to an inspiring devotion to the name of the Shinsengumi and what it stood for. Aww. August of 1869.
It's the summer of 69.
Yeah. Nearly 2 months had passed since Kazuma and I first set foot on the island of Ezo. We were in the heart of summer, but the weather could have convinced me otherwise. My bones were soothed by gentle winds coasting from the sea. After separating from Soma and Shimada, we tracked Hijikata's journey to Benten Fortress, hoping to uncover the whereabouts of his remains. At the end of last year, the former shogunate troops were nearly 3,000 strong when they reached the shores of Ezo. The Imperial Army gave them a rude awakening, dwindling their forces down to 2,000 over the course of months. Investigating the reasons for their sudden decrease was a path I was confidently disinterested in pursuing. The truth, I feared, would only break my heart more. Allegedly, Imperial forces brought over 5,000 soldiers to squash any resistance punitively. The outcome of the war was determined before a single soldier set foot on the battlefield. The timeline is as follows. May 9th, 1869, Imperial forces reached the coast of Ezo. June 11th, 1869, war between the Imperials and the government of Hakuoki began. June 14th, 1869, the resistance fighters surrendered at Benten Fortress. A total of 92 men surrendered at Benten. Among them were 13 Shinsengumi warriors. June 18th, 1869, Goryo Kaku, the last remaining stronghold, offered their terms of surrender to the Imperial Army. The Boshin War was the conflict later became known between the Imperial Army and the fragments of the Tokugawa shogunate had ended. Where that included several conflicts during the period from 1868 to 1869, it signaled the end of the feudal daimyo system, the restoration of imperial rule, and the beginning of Japan's modernization. As for the search for Hijikata's remains, it proved to be futile in effort as anything else in Ezo. I like to believe that some generous soul, out of fear in handing over Hijikata's remains to the Imperials, honorably buried his body somewhere out of reach. Kazuma, you mentioned something to me about how humans only wage wars for wealth and power, but do you honestly still believe that? Prior to our time in Ezo, I was sure that he would have nodded without giving it a second thought, but there was a noticeable shift in his attitude. After killing both Father and Kaoru and witnessing the end of the Shinsengumi firsthand, seeing all that they had died for, perhaps Kazuma had an epiphany, or at the very least was more receptive to notions that he once viewed as foreign, if not beneath him.
This experience has been enlightening. The men who gave their lives in Ezo were certainly exceptions to that belief.
Oh, character development!
My views were upheld by the atrocities we saw back in the battle for Toba Fushimi, but Hijikata was no fool, nor did he suffer any sort of delusions of grandeur. He fought, like any man should, to his death.
Good point. I wasn't sure what sort of magic the Shinsengumi conjured to keep hold of their resistance in the face of certain death. As Kazuma had described, they were keenly aware of the odds, yet somehow were steadfast in their convictions against the Imperial Army.
Take a long look at everything around you. This place is no more than a graveyard, but to you and the people who mattered, it is a memorial to the will and testament of the Shinsengumi's character.
But everyone in the Shinsengumi, they failed. Some of them held a notion that their idealist... wait, yeah, that's you, sorry.
They failed. Some of them held a notion that the idealistic worldview would stand up to scrutiny. That notion was proven false. They are fools for believing otherwise, and so the world went spinning without them.
As painful as it was to listen, I understood why Kazuma might have felt that way, but it was something with which I totally disagreed. They were warriors. It's not like they couldn't keep up with the times. It's that they refused to do so out of principle. I'm certain they had good reason for staying true to their convictions.
It never ceases to amaze me how hastily you jump to conclusions. Listen back to what I said. I hadn't labeled them as fools out of spite. But chasing such an elusive dream is impossible. Demons don't often value upholding personal convictions, however temporal they may be.
Kazuma was speaking vaguely, but it was likely the greatest compliment he could have ever given to anyone, much more in reference to the Shinsengumi. In a way, I detected a hint of envy in Kazuma's statement, as if he wished there were opportunities to put his needs before the collective needs of his kin. A long silence stretched between us, broken only by my timid musings. Where do you plan on going from here, Kazuma?
Before engaging in the bane that is human affairs, we demons lived a peaceful, secluded life. I pine quite dearly to return to that life. I tire of participating in these frivolous squabbles.
I see. I had never thought to consider that Kazuma too was a transplant in this world. How did he cope with the strife, with the pettiness of human conflict? The risk, of course, was losing touch with his concept of home in these destitute conditions.
I have a lingering suspicion that it's only a matter of time until the Imperial Army seeks to dig its slimy fingers into my affairs as well. Heading back to my clan is my utmost concern, so that I may prepare my people to head into hiding, where they will be out of the humans' grasp.
Back to your clan. This meant my journey with Kazuma had ended, and it was time for us to part. No, it doesn't, because we're basically married. We're fine.
What else do you have to go to?
Yeah. Our time, we literally have no other family. We might as well just follow Kazuma.
Yeah.
He killed them all. This was his plan all along. This is his plan all along. He's like, haha, now everyone you had was dead. All your friends, your family, they're all gone. You gotta come with me now.
He had to show her because, otherwise you might have hope that he could return to them.
Yeah. Our time together was over the span of a year and a half. There was a part of myself that slid into some fantasy that the two of us would travel together indefinitely.
What fantasy?
Yeah, what?
He's been telling you from the start he wants to marry you.
I don't understand, what...
How dense is this girl?
I mean, here's the thing. I shouldn't be judging, because I am the person who also... is just like this in real life, and there's just like Katarina, from My Second Life as a Villainess. It's all the same. It's like, oh, they don't actually love me, even though they do. Relatable. Each of my affairs were concluded. In a way, I was without direction or purpose. I was, in no small measure, this is for me, watching this, it's the same feeling I felt while watching stuff like My Second Life as a Villainess, where it's like, you kind of hate seeing yourself on screen. It's like the reason it bothers you so much. Yeah, I'm in this picture and I don't like it. Exactly. It's like, no. I haven't decided yet. I do think, however, that I'll stick around in Ezo for the time being. I don't want this memory to fade. I'm not ready to relinquish the resting place to the Shinsegumi. I was in the middle of answering him. Kazuma brought his fingernails close to his eye level, raising at them with disinterest.
In the beginning, I only expressed interest in you because you were a demon, and a female at that. But fate brought me closer to you, and by extension the Shinsengumi as well. You overcame the tragic loss of your father. Tragic loss, as if he wasn't the one who did it.
Yeah.
Oh, what a tragic accident that was.
Yeah.
Cut his head off while she was pinned under him.
Yeah.
You overcame the tragic loss of your father and brother with unexpected maturity, proving that there was more than meets the eye with you.
I mean, maybe he's referring not to their deaths, but to the deaths of who they were.
Yeah.
She had to understand and accept that she would never be able to save him. Yeah, that they were already gone, basically. That they were already dead. Well, it was the first time Kazuma had ever complimented me outright. In all honesty, I had no idea how to respond. I didn't really have a choice. Father, Kaoru, and the Shinsegumi. I just dealt with their losses as they came, as there was no use in dwelling on the past.
No need to be modest. If I had never embarked on this quest to locate the members of the Shinsengumi with you, then I would have likely never been privy to their real selves. Who would have guessed that you were capable of teaching me something? I'm Canadian now.
Canadian, Canadian Kazuma. It's like a 4Kids dub where he's voiced by a Canadian actor.
The Shinsengumi are nothing but a bunch of hosers.
Kazuma was almost never one to speak bluntly with me, but this moment felt so... What do you mean? He always speaks bluntly with us.
Yeah.
It confused me at first, having become too familiar with his sardonic remarks to know if they were genuine. All of a sudden, his arms were outstretched towards me. Oh, no!
Oh.
By the time I realized what was occurring, his face, stunningly handsome in spite of his intimidating expression, was merely inches in front of mine.
It was less than an inch. I heard that.
Yeah. My heart fluttered like a pinwheel, barely registering that my and Kazuma's lips were pressed together. The numbness trickled from the top of my head, and although I wanted to scream, I couldn't. Instead, my lips remained shut, vexed and mute. It was strange, though. For some reason, I hadn't minded it at all. My lips were frozen, offering the meekest of resistances in the form of no movement at all. His lashes tickled the side of my cheek, and only up close had I noticed his immaculate skin. Kazuma flicked his tongue gently inside of my mouth, which was softer than I anticipated. Oh, he's even putting in tongue. That's
Jeez, on the first kiss.
Yeah.
My God.
He's wanted to do this for so long.
He's been holding back for a year and a half.
Yeah, and he's like, now. Before I knew, Kazuma were locked into an intimate throw. What?
That's an interesting word.
This is an interesting word choice. There was an inexorable draw to Kazuma, an energy that tingled my face just for the touch of his lips. All my deep longings were awakened by the heat in our sensuous kiss, making me incapable of focusing on anything else. Just when I thought my heart would burst, he relinquished his hold on my body just as quickly as he had imposed it. For a moment, I was totally speechless, perhaps wide-eyed enough to elicit a small smile from Kazuma.
That this kiss tenders proof that I do not consider you a stranger. One way to put it.
Yeah. Where did that come from? I somehow managed to escape my super long enough to ask him a question.
As soon as you are ready, come find me.
Oh, look! Again, the development. Before, he was just like, oh, you have to come with me. Now he's, like, letting her choose to come back to him. Like, that's sweet.
Yeah. Wait,
so you mean... Why was he behaving so cryptically? Why is he behaving so cryptically? Oh, this felt so unclear to me. I was still reeling for a kid. Like, this is... Azure says that he expects that even on my wedding day, I'll be like, do you really like me? And I'm like, oh, so true. I struggled to form words, much less a sentence. Kazuma, however, was unconcerned with my incoherent ramblings and continued on without bringing attention to my blushed cheeks.
And if you don't, well, then I'll come for you.
Okay, maybe he hasn't changed that much. He changed a little bit, but he's still Kazuma. Although we had accomplished everything we set out to do in Ezo, it seemed as though Kazuma had some unfinished business of his own to attend to. Granted, I wasn't wholly unopposed to the idea. As we bookended one chapter of our lives, it was time to start anew, and for the first time in years, I was ready for whatever life had to throw at me. I could finally shed my skin and blossom with nothing to tether me down. I don't like the image of that. I immediately thought of, like, body horror games.
Yeah.
Like, actually ripping the skin off.
Yeah, I always get reminded of this comic with the denseness.
Yeah. We did it! Woo!
Yay!
This journey has been a long one, but we did it.
Yeah.
Oh boy. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it was cool. I share both your positive and negative opinions.
Yeah.
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 It's really neat how accurate it is to all the stuff.
Yeah.
It was good character development as well.
Yeah.
Especially near the end.
It's definitely one of those things where it makes sense why the anime pretty much barely has Chizuru in it, despite her being a main character here, is because, like, all the other characters get lots of good development, lots of good characterization. The story is really good because it really accurately portrays the history and everything, even with the fantasy elements. But Chizuru is like the weakest element of the entire story. Which is
I do
sad.
think she had good development as well in this route.
Yeah. Yeah, she has like good moments. Like I stated this before, like before we even start playing this game, that I do like Chizuru. I just feel like her character was a bit wasted most of the time in terms of all the plots and whatnot. Like she's kind of still like a passive character in the plot.
Which I suppose makes sense given her like role as the historian. Then if that's what you want to go with. But
yeah. 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 Definitely always still, even I was worried that after I would play this for the stream that I would realize that now years later I don't like it as much anymore, but I still love it a lot. I still think it's one of the best dating sims I've ever played to this day. Has its issues, but overall still a good time.
Yeah.
Oh wait, final chapter! Oh wait, hold up.
Wait,
Hold up, we're not done. 1 second. Oh, it's probably like one of these, like last time, where we had like a short little thing and then it ended. January 1870. I was alone, bundled in a thick blanket during a blustery winter day in my childhood home in Edo. My, it's freezing. Guess I shouldn't be surprised. Vapor escaped my mouth with each exhale. My restlessness was further spurred by this insensate urge to clean the aging homestead. So I entered the chilly yard, gathering the dead leaves scattered along the grass into a neat pile. The season brought with it festivities that had the town buzzing, and I watched townspeople hustling up and down the street. After returning to Edo, my first order of business was writing Dr. Matsumoto a heartfelt letter. He replied immediately, expressing sincere relief after having been notified of my safety. Dr. Matsumoto made a point of iterating that I could reach out to him whenever I should ever require help in a tight bind, which warmed my heart. My second order of business was writing to Sen. She insisted that I reside with her in Yase village, but although I appreciated her generous offer, I refused. It was because, just as I was pondering to myself...
Oh, another chance lost.
Yeah. Like Sen is like, come on, I want to date you. And it's like, nah, sorry, we're not in that... It's not that kind of game, I'm sorry. All of a sudden, I was approached by my next-door neighbor who sung words of praise to me. Oh, please, it was no problem at all. How is he doing? Oh, so she decided to take up, like, the thing that Kodo wanted to do before he went insane.
Yeah.
Probably to, like, honor his memory.
Makes sense.
Why, yes, sadly, my father passed away, so I'll have to make do. That's something I have yet to figure out myself. Wow, she's like really pushing for it. She's like, go find a husband.
Yeah. Yep.
Well... Oh, I'm sure I shall check it out when I get the chance. This is me as well.
She goes there and it's Kazuma working there.
Oh my gosh, you know what? What if that is the case? I think that would be perfect.
I highly doubt it.
My neighbor flashed a bright grin, nodding her head before politely waving me goodbye. It was kind of her to express an interest in my well-being and all, but finding suitors, huh? Maybe it is time for me to start thinking about settling down. I had still some wounds to lick, so I found myself a little too preoccupied to worry about it just yet. If I had to marry someone, then... Yeah, was suddenly thrust into a flashback. Something about my conversation with my neighbor evoked that moment, and it's something about it. I wonder what it could have been. I mean, we were together for almost 2 years. Kazuma was so patient with me during
practically married already.
Yeah, like you guys were talking like an old married couple. What the frick? During the tumultuous period following my separation from the Shinsengumi, when I lost father in Kaoru, he was a shoulder that I could cry on and offered me words of comfort. He even escorted me to Ezo and stood beside me as we witnessed the end of the Shinsengumi. I'm not sure if the memories we shared together could ever be bested by another man, as if anyone else could ever understand all that I've been through. Although Kazuma told me that he would come for me whenever my heart was ready, so much time had passed that I began to wonder if he truly meant it. He said that demons always keep their promises, just as I muttered to myself. Oh!
It's that boy.
It's that boy! Oh, look at his outfit! I love it! Huh? What? Was I hallucinating?
Yes.
Yeah, it turns out it's just a tree. Oh, it was a tree. And on my eye, I rubbed my eyes incredulously, but the image didn't change. He was here, staying in front of me, appearing like a specter from an ethereal mist. It was something out of a dream, and then he spoke.
Cheeser, I've come for you.
I like that gradient of the dark to the light.
Yeah, it's nice.
It also, I feel like this outfit kind of reflects like his change almost. Like his development over the course of his route. Because earlier he had like a completely like darker outfit, but now it's like gradient. As soon as I heard his familiar arrogant tone, the hairs along the back of my neck stood up.
That sexy arrogance of him.
Yeah. She's like, oh, it's hot.
What's with that look?
Oh, look, he seems actually upset. He's like, oh, maybe I was wrong.
This is the warmest welcome you could muster after having been deprived of my presence for months.
Amazing. Oh.
Oh, it's you. Hi.
Hi.
I was kind of busy, actually, so...
Yeah, goodbye. Shuts the door. There was always
Can you come back
him.
another time? Yeah.
Almost 6 months had passed since we spoke, yet he was his usual callous self. Honestly, I couldn't expect any less from Kazuma. So you really did come for me. All the tears I thought were dried and left in Ezo became welling up once more. I wanted nothing less than for him to see me in such a state, but my heart was untied. Nothing could be done.
Hadn't I mentioned that demons always keep their word? Or do you still doubt me?
Well, whether or not I believe you is one thing, but you can't blame me for starting to worry. I mean, I received no correspondence from you in half a year's time. My eyes shifted away from Kazuma, and I rushed to wipe the tears from my puffy, swollen eyes. I was my only friend throughout this period, save for the harsh and lonesome winter.
Tell me how much you miss me.
He loves it. He's like, heck yeah. I never said that. There was no hiding how much I missed him, but he was so frustratingly smug about it, as if it were his intention to keep me waiting all along, which made me hesitant to admit it. Just as I was about to offer my own snarky response, Kazuma stopped me with an outstretched arm. And he drew me in closer, pressing his lips against mine just like an Ezo. Instinctively, my head jerked backwards. Yaw. Just what do you think you're doing?
What, are you deaf? I've come to claim you.
Oh, I love the outfit she's wearing here, too. It's nice. I wish we could see the full outfit. I froze. His crimson eyes beamed in front of me. A well of emotion stirred tirelessly in my stomach, glancing back and forth between euphoric joy and trepidation. My heart was pulled in 1,000 directions.
Just so you are aware, I've begun preparations to migrate the Kazuma clan to a new home. A place which, if everything goes as planned, would be out of the Meiji government's reach. A safe place. You are the last piece of the puzzle. I will tolerate no resistance, so come with me at once.
Hold on a minute, I just can't help but leave everything so suddenly.
Sudden? What is sudden about it? I'm not here to play games. You kept me waiting for 5 months. Actually, not just 5 months. If you add up all the time I wasted chasing you when you were under the under the Shinsengumi's custody, it's even longer.
I would think that our last interaction would have changed things, but he was as pompous as ever. I was so aghast with embarrassment that I had nothing to say, as if he would listen to my reply, but while the world around us sped into a new age, Kazuma was a constant, unbending, and unbroken, and always by my side.
Well, what's it going to be? Are you coming with me or not?
I searched inside myself for the right words to say, leaving an awkward space to which Kazuma thinned his scarlet eyes gleefully.
There was no need to bother with asking, was there? The answer was so clear to me all this time. Well, I'll leave then. Goodbye, have a good life.
Yeah, he just starts walking away. Like, I'm sorry, goodbye. I do like that, the detail of him asking, though. Like, it actually seemed like a question there, and then he got his answer just by looking at her. But it did show some character development that he asked ahead of time.
Yeah.
He slowly closed the distance between us even more than he already had. His strong, thick his thick arms.
Since when are his arms thick?
Covered me in warmth.
Chizuru.
It's like he's a Bara character now. Then, aww. He forced his lips upon mine, but this was different. It was as if he possessed a sixth sense to read all of my thoughts intuitively and on command, but I knew he was telling the truth. From the moment we parted in Ezo, my heart yearned for his tender embrace. It was a feeling that I cherished. Kazuma might have been a pain, but he was my pain, and I was all the better for it. It really is like that meme where it's like, yes, this guy is a dumbass, but he's my dumbass.
Yeah.
That's just what all relationships are. You're my dumbass. It's like, oh, who's this dumbass fighting an entire army of people? Oh, it's mine! Gotta go save them.
Excuse me, I think you left your dumbass out.
I got the achievement says Kazadi!
What?
That's what the achievement said. It said Kazadi.
Oh no. Why?
Oh my god. That is the most amazing achievement I've ever gotten in my life. Oh my god. It's so good. Kazadi.
I hate it.
Let's look at this. Huh. I don't understand how this works, but it's fine. But yeah, we've done it. We've beaten the game. A long journey is over. Now we have to figure out what we're playing next.
Yeah.
I think we should do something other than a dating sim for a bit, just to have something different. I could make a poll with some stuff that I have, and you can decide from that.
Did you still want to do like one session of the Yogg next time?
I mean, sure.
Yeah, it was interesting to see what you think of it.
Yeah. Can you send how it's spelled to me?
Yeah, I'll just link you the thingy, the Steam page.
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely be willing to play it. To try it out, and if I like it, maybe even more. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the idea of that kind of gameplay style. I think more games, like, it's been shown that it's possible to do it, so I definitely want more of that.
I've posted it in the Velvet Room.
Thank you, thank you. Oh boy. But yeah,
You know,
thanks.
just like Monster Prom, only one person needs to have it. So I
Yeah.
could stream on Discord and then, but it's up to you if you
Yeah, I
wanna
mean,
have what part
I'm
you.
fine with that. Yeah.
All right.
That's basically what we do a lot of times on VN night these days.
Okay.
It's Fal or Thomas are the ones like streaming the Jackboxes that we have, and I just stream their stream. So
Makes sense.
yeah, it works out. So that would totally be fine with me.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm excited to try it out.
Yeah, I really like it.
Yeah. And plus, I think I just need a break from visual novels for now. After going through
Yeah,
one.
this is something different.
Yeah.
It's still story based, but not
Yeah.
in the same way.
Yeah, not in the same way. Yeah. But yeah. Thanks as always, Rolf. Thanks for hanging out and joining me on this journey through Hakuoki.
Yeah, thanks for showing me this game.
Yeah. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I was worried, as I said earlier, once we started playing, I was worried that it wouldn't be as good as I remembered, because as I said, I played it while I was still in high school. And so I was worried.
Yeah, I know that feeling. There's definitely things I have not gone back to because I'm worried it'll just ruin the memory of them.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. I was like, oh, they wanted to show the opening cutscene again. But yeah, I totally agree with that. There's so many shows and stuff that if I rewatch it now, I'm like, oh, it's not as good anymore. Like, I recently rewatched some of DN Angel with some peeps in my server, and that show was like one of my favorite animes when I was a little kid. I watched it through like multiple times. And then I rewatched it, and there was still stuff that I liked, but I feel like it was all nostalgia. Like, I liked it because it was such a big part of my childhood, not because it's actually good.
Yeah. It's funny, I'm rewatching One Piece, or, well, I think I've finally gone past the point where I was when I stopped watching last time. Which was like 12 years ago.
Yeah.
But I'm actually enjoying it more than the first time, which is interesting.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely some of those shows, too, where it's like, you're too young when you see it.
I didn't appreciate this aspect of it before.
Yeah, because you're like too young to understand it when you first see it, and then the second time it's like you've grown up, you've matured, you learn new things, you've learned how to analyze things better, and so things that kind of went over your head as a kid, like now make more sense.
Yeah.
And I think that's why some things that you can like as a kid, you end up hating like as an adult, because you finally could see like all the areas that they don't work as well with. Yeah. Which is always kind of sad too.
All right. Well, I'll see you next week then.
Yeah, get some good rest, Rolf. Thanks for hanging out as usual. You're the best. Oh,
have a nice rest of your day.
I just want to say one last thing. I still think it's amazing that you were able to win a round of the trivia murder party. We were all so shocked. Yeah, it's like, can you people can literally win as the audience. What the heck?
Yeah, that was funny.
That was so good. Top tier moments right there. I was like, oh my gosh, Rolf won.
It's like, wait, the game ended? Who won? Wait, what?
Yeah, it's like, whoa. It's kind of cool. I think that might be the only game where the audience actually has like an active role in the game. Like one of the few.
Just vote on answers of which one I had to pick.
Yeah, the other one I can think of where the audience has an active role in the game is a Monster Seeking Monster.
Yeah, I was about to say that one.
Yeah, which I have won as the audience. I've won multiple games as the audience while playing that game.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great. Well, see you around.
Yeah, see you around, Rolf. Thanks for hanging out. I love you very much. Get some good sleeps.
Bye-bye.
Oh, boy. Let's see here. Who shall we raid? Oh boy. Sinnoh is live. Q-Flux is live. What should I do? Let's raid... I mean, Sinnoh has plenty of people. I'll raid Q-Flux. Yeah, Q-Flux. 888. Here we go. Let's go! Thank you guys all so much for joining as usual. Y'all are the bestest beans. It feels great to finally beat Hakuoki and move on to something. I still love Hakuoki, don't get me wrong, but I'm glad to be doing something else. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye!